Alright, ladies and gentlemen, fight fans all around the world, let's talk boxing. Vasyl Lomachenko beat Nicholas Walters by TKO to defend his title. That was excellent. I watched the fight just a minute ago. Excellent work by Vasyl Lomachenko. Of course, if you take out the foundation, the building will fall. And same thing we saw with Andrew Ward versus Sergey Kovalev, even though that was a more competitive fight. We saw with Vasyl Lomachenko versus Nicholas Walters. And Lomachenko went into the body, but he also mixed up the body and the head whenever he got an opportunity, and he took out Nicholas Walters. Nicholas Walters quit. He did not go out in round 9. He was going to get finished in round 9, quite frankly. Excellent work by Vasyl Lomachenko. A lot of people, Arab King, thought that Nicholas Walters, he was backing Nicholas Walters to win this fight. He had no chance. If anything, he won maybe 2 rounds at most in this fight, if you're being generous. But Lomachenko, very fluid fighter. Reminds me a little bit of Pacquiao, but a lot much more constructed, a lot more schooled in boxing. He doesn't just leap in, he doesn't reach with his shots. He's really well balanced, comes in at those different angles, moves in at those different angles. He's able to have Nicholas Walters always a step behind him, invested in the body, but nice fluent feints. The thing about Lomachenko is he goes at a speed that's very relaxed, very casual, but he's doing a lot of things. He's feinting. He's setting up shots. He's landing his shots on different parts of the body and also to the head at times. Wherever he sees an opening, he's going for it. And the accumulation of punishment on Nicholas Walters, even though people weren't noticing it, it really came to a head, and it was very noticeable in the 8th round when Lomachenko really took it up a notch and really started to go for the finish. And Walters just did not come out. He was a beaten dude, all right? And so I just love it. I mean, Vasyl Lomachenko, if you look at his track record now, he's on his way to become #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world. This guy in his 8 fights has faced 4 world champions, former, present, or future world champions. Orlando Salido became a world champion again. When he faced Lomachenko, he became that world champion. And then he also faced Gary Russell Jr., who is now currently world champion. He also faced Roman Martinez to take the world super featherweight world championship from him, and Nicholas Walters was a former featherweight world champion. So this guy's faced 4 world champions in his 8 fights. Going at that speed, this guy is going to be pound for pound #1 in the world very, very soon. Okay? He's currently at the #7 position, and I see him definitely getting to that #1 spot if he keeps fighting competition like that. I just want to say, though, him fighting Manny Pacquiao is just a dumb idea. So I don't think Barbara Arum should do that. I think he should stay at super featherweight for a little bit and then move up to lightweight. But this guy really impresses me, and there's so many different things he does in that ring, and he does it at a speed that is not too fast, not too slow, and he doesn't give his opponents time to set. He keeps them off balance. He always keeps them a step behind him. He's a thinking fighter. Just so much to admire about him. You really need to do a study on this guy because he is the goods. He's not like Gennady Golovkin, who's fought nobody so far. I think he's fought, 1 champion, David Lemieux, and David Lemieux himself didn't even get a chance to establish his championship. He never had a defense. His first defense was against Gennady Golovkin for unification, so we didn't really know how good he was. So you can't even count David Lemieux in the equation. That's the only world champion, current world champion he ever faced. Faced a couple former world champions after they were past their prime, so you can't really count that. Lomachenko in 8 fights has fought stiffer competition than anybody here has in their first 8 fights. Period. Okay? Alright, let me just review the rankings and tell you how I see the ring should be ranking these fighters, just so you guys know. Golovkin comes kind of low down the pound for pound rankings. If I just rearrange these guys as they are, Andre Ward would be #1. #2, believe it or not, would be Canelo Alvarez. You just look at his body of work, he should be at #2 right now. #3 on this listing would be Sergey Kovalev. #4 on this listing, believe it or not, would be Vasyl Lomachenko. So he moves from 7 to, in my opinion, to #4. Then #5 would be Terence Crawford. #6 on this listing should be #5 would be Roman Gonzalez. #6 would be Terence Crawford. #7 would be Gennady Golovkin. Number 8 would be Carl Frampton. Number 9 should be Guillermo Rigondeaux. Number 10 should be Shinsuke Yamanaka. That's how I would do it. Because you have to look at the level of competition they face, not just how many defenses they've had. You know, that's cool to have all these defenses, but then you ask yourself, who is the competition? Like, what was so important about the competition that these guys were defending against? You look at Arthur Abraham's, he's had record amounts of defenses, but against who? Nobody's. You know what I mean? So you can't just look at statistics. Gennady Golovkin, he's defended his title against a whole bunch of people, but most of them are nobodies. They don't have any reputation. They have no... nobody knows them for beating anybody of reputation. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that they're not top fighters, but when we say nobody, it means nobody knows about them. You know what I mean? And that's very important for you to understand. They're not in any high rankings anywhere, you know? Even though he did fight a couple of guys who had high rankings anywhere. So that's why Gennady Golovkin is somewhere 7th. This guy doesn't deserve to be at number 4 right now. Yes, he has spectacular knockouts, but they're not high caliber. They're not A-level opposition. He's fought B-level opposition and below. He hasn't fought an A-level fighter yet. Okay? Roman Gonzalez has fought 1 or 2 A-level fighters. Juan Francisco Estrada is an A-level fighter. At the time he fought him, you wouldn't consider him A-level, but he turned out to be an A-level fighter. Sergey Kovalev has fought 1 A-level fighter in Bernard Hopkins. Bernard Hopkins is definitely an A-level fighter. Okay? You can't dispute that. Andrew Ward's fought several A-level fighters, so we're not going to talk about him. Terrence Crawford, as far as I know, hasn't fought an A-level fighter. I'm trying to think. Ricky Burns is world champion right now, but Ricky Burns, is he an A-level fighter? I don't know. It's up to you how you see that. Guillermo Rigondeaux has fought 1 A-level fighter in, what's his name? Nonito Donaire. So Vasyl Lomachenko has fought several A-level fighters. Okay, several. Okay. Let's put it this way: if they're not A-level fighters, then they were world champions at the time he fought them. Okay, you can get any higher than that. Canelo Alvarez fought several A-level fighters, period, and Hall of Famers. Okay, Carl Frampton hasn't fought an A-level fighter yet. Shinsuke Yamanaka, has he fought an A-level fighter? He's probably fought 1 A-level fighter, maybe. The point is that you can't fight nobodies and be ranked so high. I'm sorry. This guy does not deserve to be here. You have to work your way. You have to earn your way. This guy deserves his spot. Vasyl Lomachenko deserves this spot. Alright? It's just what it is. Roman Gonzalez deserves to be number 5 in the world. He deserves it. Moved up a weight class, fought a world champion. It's not an A-level fighter necessarily, but he's a world champion. You know? So, if you're gonna be ranked by the ring needs to get their ranking correctly. Otherwise, people are just gonna look at the ring as a joke. They're gonna look at it as a joke, and they're not gonna take it seriously. And the ring needs to be taken seriously. You know, a lot of great fighters talked about, I'm pound for pound number 1 in the world. It was the ring that gave them that. So I'm hoping that the people who grade will not grade along racial lines and partisan lines. These people with a certain group of people. Forget that. Danny Garcia should be in the pound for pound rankings. Danny Garcia deserves to be there. You look at the body of work he's done. He deserves to be in pound for pound rankings. Why is he not there? Okay. Again, I mentioned another guy who beat a guy who was a pound for pound fighter. You have Tyson Fury. He beat Vladimir Klitschko. He should be in the pound for pound rankings. Alright? I don't care about race and all those things. I care about boxing. And these are just facts. Anyway, you guys have a great one.